Beautiful 21-year-old Katelyn Markham's body is in a heap, tossed in a dumping ground found in a remote part of Indiana. But how she got there is still a mystery. Now, an anonymous donor who is not connected to the case but claims to have a keen interest in finding justice has reportedly put up big money to help find her killer. Private investigator J. Ryan Green jumps on the case. Green goes back to the beginning, the 911 call made by Katelyn's fiancé, John Carter, on the night she went missing.
The car is still there. The purse is still...
Okay. And you're out there now?
I'm heading out there now. I have been trying to get a hold of her, and I decided to go by her house to see if she was okay, and her car was still there, which is why I'm, really freaking out.
John has just told the 911 operator that Katelyn's car and purse are at her home. Yet when the 911 operator asks if he's there, he says he's on his way. Green wonders, how would Carter know about her car and purse if he wasn't even there yet?
John misrepresented the truth in a 911 call. With his own statements.
Adding to Green's suspicion, he says in police interviews, John claimed he went by Katelyn's house first, ran an errand, and then called 911. Green asks, who does that? Then he calls this portion of John's 911 call into question.
Okay, and you guys didn't have an argument or anything?
Not at all.
Not at all? Katelyn's best friend, Michelle, tells quite a different story.
I knew that they were fighting, and when he was on the 911 tape, when he was saying that they hadn't been arguing at all, I'm just like, why would you lie about that part of it?
When the dispatcher asked John if Katelyn and him had been fighting, he said, no, not at all. You're telling a dispatcher that you weren't in a fight and you were in a fight.
The Markham family attorney also listened to the 911 call.
I was a firefighter and a paramedic before I was a lawyer, and I have heard my share of 911 calls. I've made 911 calls, and a 911 call is usually a call for help. That's what it is. Call for help. John Carter's call was a call to inform.
Inform? Inform what and to whom? The 911 call continues.
And the Sacred Heart Festival is going on right up the street, and there's a lot of questionable people there.
He immediately offered up a theory. You noticed an hour ago that your girlfriend isn't where she's supposed to be, and the carnies took her? I mean, that's a leap.
Police say no one has been ruled out in this case as a person of interest. Katelyn's fiancé took a voice stress analysis test, and that was reportedly inconclusive. He also took 2 polygraphs, and authorities are not releasing those results. But private investigator Green believes where Katelyn's body was found is a huge piece of the puzzle.
This was an illegal dump site where she was found. So somebody knew about the dump site and somebody just tossed her here like a piece of trash.
Somebody?
It troubles me a lot to know that, the Carter family has property in this area.
That's right. This spot is just minutes away from John Carter's family home. Coincidence? Green doesn't think so.
This road is in close proximity to where John Carter would have traveled to go to his family's property.
Police investigators believe Katelyn died in Ohio and her body was dumped here in Indiana. Green thinks the killer needed some help moving the body and has a theory.
There was a friend at Katelyn's apartment besides John Carter the last night she was seen. That friend left a little earlier than John did, supposedly.
That's right. The night Katelyn went missing, the couple was not alone. Fairfield police say they had company. A detective tells us it was a longtime childhood friend of John's named Brad Von Bargen.
Now, he drove a car that he referred to as his baby. And I found out that he no longer had his baby. He sold it in 2013, just after Katelyn was found. He sold it in a rush and said that he needed to leave to go to North Carolina.
The PI set out to find it. This car, the 1997 green Acura that Green says Brad was driving the night he left Katelyn's home.
I tracked it down.
And he's revealing this all-new evidence only to Crime Watch Daily.
I had it sent to police as a crime scene. They did a luminol test. There was evidence of blood in the trunk area.
Yes, blood in the trunk of the car, once owned by the man Green believes was the second to last known person to ever see Katelyn Markham alive. Unfortunately, this potential break in the case may have come too late.
I obtained a vehicle almost 4 years later. You have extreme cold in Cincinnati, and you have hot weather with the cleaning of the vehicle, shampooing, that messes with DNA. That messes with blood.
Despite what the private investigator thinks, the Fairfield Police Department tells Crime Watch Daily it does not believe Brad was involved. But Detective Irvin says she can't officially clear anyone because this is an ongoing investigation. Green is still frustrated the car wasn't tested at the time of Katelyn's disappearance.
The members of the police department are aware of the family's criticism. But I think every agency that has looked at this case and has reviewed it with us demonstrate that we have done everything that modern police investigative techniques require.
Was that the vehicle that Katelyn Markham was transported in? We'll never know.
But the determined PI is not giving up. And he gets his hands on another piece of vital evidence. It's never been released to the public until now. Cell phone records from the night Katelyn went missing.
I got an insight to this case that no one else would have because that's my job. I'm a private investigator. That's what I do.
Investigator Green claims this cell phone timeline contradicts previous statements John made to police. In recent months, John hasn't been talking to authorities, but he agrees to meet with private investigator Green. And only Crime Watch Daily has hidden cameras set up and ready to roll. John and his mother Karen joined investigator Green and his associate for the interview.
Hey John, how are you?
Doing good. How are you, Ryan?
Good. Been a while.
Investigator Green introduces a timeline comparing cell phone records and John's earlier interviews to authorities concerning the night Katelyn went missing. First up, Investigator Green questions a text. In John's interview with police, he claims he sent a good morning text to Katelyn on the day she went missing. But according to cell phone records obtained by Investigator Green, he did not.
I do believe that I had sent her a message before I went to bed, but according to the Fairfield Police, or according to my phone records, I didn't send her anything, but I could have swore that I had sent her a message
I have
before.
those. Yeah, you did. There isn't anything.
But John's mother is quick to point out that the 911 call that John made is also missing from the cell phone record.
That's a call we know he made. Nobody's questioning that, and yet it doesn't show up.
Okay.
How can we say that just because something else isn't showing up, that there wasn't something else?
Next, Investigator Green brings up the phone call John made to his friend Matt on the night Katelyn disappeared. According to statements John made to police, he was on the phone with Matt when he was driving up to Katelyn's townhome and discovered her car in the driveway and became concerned.
Stop sign's here. You turn the corner, you go up into the drive, and you park, you walk across. Is that the way you remember it? Okay.
But, and this is a huge but, according to Investigator Green, as noted in the cell phone records, John hangs up with his friend Matt, and 38 seconds later, he calls Katelyn's dad, screaming that Katelyn is missing.
You called David Markham 38 seconds after you hung up with Matt. You wouldn't have even had time to go in the house with 38 seconds. If you're in the parking lot, you wouldn't have had a chance to even go into Katelyn's room in 38 seconds. He didn't have time to get in the front door, much less even go to her room to see if she was there.
That's 38 seconds to park, walk across the street, enter her condo, look around, and then declare to her father that Katelyn is missing.
Again, I don't remember the exact order of when I called people.
But the exact order in which he called people is in black and white on the cell phone record. And it suggests,
in my investigative opinion, that he knew she was gone prior to him going into the house.
But whether John Carter has a poor memory or guilty conscience, only time will tell. P.I. Green thinks he's on to something, though, and while he says the anonymous donor is no longer paying him, he plans to stay on the case for Katelyn's sake.
They need peace, and the only way they're going to get peace is if this case is solved.
And while Katelyn's dad certainly has his theories on what happened to his daughter, he says the most important thing is that anyone with hard facts about Katelyn's murder needs to call the Fairfield Police. That number is 513-829-8201.